It's the Wednesday afternoon edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. If you're new to this video, I hope you get a kick out of it. I hope you find it informative. The purpose of this video is to kind of expand on what I talk about on TV, because on TV I only got a couple of minutes in my weather segment, whereas this video I've got as much time as I want. It also kind of gives you a peek behind the curtain and shows you a few of the things that I'm looking at in the Weather Center as I create and come up with the forecast each afternoon and evening. All right, what we're looking at here first off today is the temperature anomaly map for the month so far. The month is a week old, and no surprise, it's been colder than average in a lot of the U.S., where you have these purples and greens and whites. All of this is below average air. And the only warm spot compared to average in the country so far this month is California, parts of the desert southwest, and heading up into interior parts of the northwest. The rest of the country has been below average, and the heart of it's been up here across the upper Midwest, of course, where it's been brutally cold. So the month is off to a cold start. The rest of the month, I also don't want to forget about Alaska. Alaska's been very warm. The rest of the month is going to feature more ups and downs, I think, than the first week, which has been consistently cold, with the exception of really 1 or 2 days last weekend right before the cold snap. It, of course, got mild, but that's been the exception, certainly not the rule. Let me move my browser over here. Here's the list of coldest temperatures on record in Youngstown, and with our low of -12 yesterday morning, we tied for 9th place. We share this record with 1989, 1983, 1957. So -12, that was the official mark. Not anywhere near that -22 that we hit during the cold snap around January 19th and 20th of 1994. Here's the list of coldest high temperatures on record in Youngstown, and with yesterday's high of 2, that tied us for 8th place, matching 1984 at 2 above 0 for the high yesterday. And the all-time record, same day we set the all-time low temperature, we had the coldest high temperature on record back in 1994. All right, so the dreaded polar vortex, which you've been hearing all sorts of bad information about, frankly, over the last few days. It is now up in Canada. I realize with all the colors on the screen here, maybe a little bit hard to get your bearings. Let me take off. Well, I guess I can't really do that, but I'll point to where we are here. Right here is Youngstown. Around here is the Great Lakes. Up here is Hudson Bay in Canada. And just to the east of Hudson Bay, this is where the center of the coldest air mass is now. Up in eastern Canada, the flow around that low is still out of the northwest, and so it's still cold outside today. We've still got a flow of air that's ushering in colder than average air, but it's better than it was yesterday. That much is for certain. And let me bring up real quickly how much warmer it is compared to 24 hours ago across much of the country, because this map is pretty impressive today. We've got air here in northeast Ohio and western PA that's up to 17, 18 degrees warmer than 24 hours ago. 24 hours ago, it was about 2 degrees. Now we're around 20. Yeah, we're still below average. It's not a heat wave, but improvement nonetheless. And similar numbers throughout the Midwest and into the southeast as well. So the polar vortex now no longer an issue. You know, the national media, most of them, of course, are not scientists, and that's fine. Not everyone is a scientist. We need lots and lots of non-scientists, but when we have non-scientists talking about a pretty scientific, weather geeky term like the polar vortex, oftentimes they get it completely wrong, and unfortunately that's been the case a lot of times this week. Polar vortex, nothing new at all. This is a feature that is always there. It just happened to come pretty far south this time, resulting in a remarkably cold period for the U.S. This is not, this cold snap, not a result of climate change. It is not a sign that climate change is not real. You can't say, oh, just because we had this really cold week, oh, it must mean global warming is not real. No, you can't say that either. So you can't say either thing, but unfortunately a lot of pundits and a lot of the talking heads on TV, they go in that direction, and that sort of contaminates the debate a little bit, because there's a legitimate debate to be had about climate change and global warming and what role man is having in changing the climate. And when you have people saying things like, well, this means there's no global warming, or you have people on the other side saying that that all this must be a result of global warming or climate change. Neither thing is good. All right, I'll get off my soapbox. Let's talk about the weather over the next couple of days. As I record this at about 2:20 p.m., here's what the weather map looks like. Cold air and a little bit of snow on this map, streaking out through kind of the Interstate 70 corridor from just north of St. Louis through Illinois, Indiana, into Ohio. And this is going to continue moving east tonight. And I do think there may be a coating of snow, a dusting, if you will, in some spots overnight. I suspect it's less than an inch, certainly. So, you might have to watch out for a few areas that are a little bit slick later on tonight. We'll zoom out and take a look at the rest of the country briefly. It's chillier than average in most spots, again, including Florida. It's only 58 in Tampa, 66 in Orlando. But the worst of the cold is gone. Notice we don't have any minus 20s showing up anywhere near the U.S.-Canadian border. So that certainly is a good thing. All right. So we get our little coating of snow tonight. Thursday looks pretty uneventful. An area of high pressure will drift off to our east. It'll be over here in the afternoon. We'll see a little bit of sunshine on Thursday. Not a bad day at all. Thursday night, another one of these weak disturbances moves through. And this is the middle of the night, Thursday night, and heading into Friday morning. We could see another coating, half inch maybe, worth of snow out of this Thursday night, first thing on Friday. That's going to move out of the way. The rest of Friday looks all right. Now, here's the next system, and this one's a little different because enough warm air is going to be drawn up that the weekend's going to start rainy. Not snow, but rain on Saturday. We'll have low pressure here, a front like this, and all of this precipitation will be liquid. It'll be rain. Not a lot of dry time Saturday, especially during the first half of the day. I do suspect we'll see drying from west to east by mid to late afternoon Saturday, so we might be able to salvage the very end of the day. But certainly the morning looks wet, the midday looks pretty wet as well. Then we'll get our drying trend. So we got a warm and wet Saturday, and then after Saturday and heading into Sunday, maybe there's a leftover shower or two, maybe a snowflake mixed in. Sunday looks a little chillier than Saturday, but still not bad. I think we're above average. And then we stay above average, it looks like, into Sunday night, maybe Monday morning, before temperatures start to drop off a little bit for next week. But no barn burners on this computer model through the next week. We don't have a big snowstorm heading our way. We don't have a big cold snap heading our way. What we do have is temperatures retreating kind of back to average middle of next week. Here's that chart I show occasionally showing the computer model forecast taking us out 16 days. This goes all the way past 2 weeks. The black line here in the middle, that's average. That's where we should be at this time of the year. We go above that line for a few days heading into the weekend. It'll be pretty warm. We could be in the lower 50s, almost 20 above average by Saturday afternoon. But then after that, notice we kind of retreat and temperatures probably hang out within a few degrees of average for a lot of the time as we head towards the middle 1/3 of January. All right, that's weather for Weather Geeks on this Wednesday. You'll see my forecast tonight on 21 News at 6 and 11. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tonight on TV.